What is happening, people? It is Christmas of 2018, or rather fourth quarter of 2018, and I'm here to give you an update about my sales and make you aware of some upcoming videos I think you're going to find very useful. Stick around. Okay guys, here we are, the weekend after Thanksgiving 2018. I've had a bunch of stuff going on this month. I want to tell you about it. I want to tell you about some upcoming videos that are already shot. Just have to get time to edit them. But first thing I want to talk about is how to do fourth quarter wrong. I have done everything this fourth quarter that I would advise my students to never do. These things were not done on purpose. It was just a question of necessity. As they say, life happens. I had a very busy year. I took on a project, as you know from other videos, I took on a consulting project about April of this year, and that project took more than double the amount of time that had actually been forecasted, and it pretty much put everything I do on Amazon into autopilot mode, and I was running behind all year. I felt like I've been trying to play catch up all year long, and that's something I always advise people to never do. Normally I order, my supplies, my inventory, starting probably in June, July, never later than August, to get stocked up for fourth quarter, to really make sure that I'm prepared to the fullest degree possible. And this year, truthfully, none of that happened. I watched June go by, July go by, finally got my orders placed for both some new items I wanted to carry as well as some replenishment items. Got those orders placed in August. I think there might have even been a couple I placed in early September. Not what I would ever advise anyone to do. I've had major anxiety over it myself. That anxiety was not enhanced at all when some orders were held up in customs for no apparent reason. And then I was told at one point that the items were not going to be allowed into the country. I was fortunate, everything turned out well. I was actually getting some wrong information because I actually had inventory sitting in an Amazon warehouse that on paper was showing up as still being in a customs warehouse somewhere in California or Oregon. And anyway, I was a little bit ahead, I was further ahead than I thought I was. But it was still, overall, I was still really behind the curve in terms of getting things ordered and getting them in place before fourth quarter. I won't let that happen again. I make my money on Amazon. That's where I make my living. I had taken on, like I say, a consulting project that took longer in terms of duration and also much more in terms of commitment during the course of a typical week than I had anticipated and than what I'd been told or led to believe. And I'm not going to let that happen again. This was a very stressful summer. On top of that, like you know from other videos, I moved. Again, lots of things going on this year. I'm getting all my excuses out here as quickly as I can so I can get on to the meat of this video. Well, anyway, to tell you the good news, here we are the weekend after Thanksgiving. So far, roughly midway through, a little bit more than midway through fourth quarter, my sales are actually about 14% over where they were this same time last year. That is amazing. I cannot tell you how happy I am and how grateful I am for that being the case. I always want to move forward. I never want to move back. And I honestly, if you had asked me in September if I was going to match my sales from last year, I probably would have told you no. I wasn't going to fall far short, but I did not anticipate matching them. But right now I'm so close to where I was last year that I feel confident to say I will match and surpass by quite a ways my sales from last year. So I'm again very happy and very grateful. I think I've been fortunate here. Of why you don't want to constantly introduce new items. My items that I've carried over from last year, which is the majority of my items, they've had strong sales throughout the year, and once I was able to replenish them and restock them on Amazon, Sales picked up right where they left off, and in some cases just exploded actually. But anyway, the takeaway from this is that, I'm having a great fourth quarter. I hope you are. Everything indicates that retailers, both online and brick and mortar, are going to have a banner year. There's going to be a lot of money spent this year. The economy is a little bit better than it has been in previous years, so I think people are trying to vent and let off some steam and do things for themselves and do things for their kids and their loved ones that they have maybe not been able to do for a few years. So that's a good thing. That's a positive sign. That's good for everyone. I'm going to tell you about a couple of videos that I've already filmed that I think are going to be very useful. They'll be up here in the next week or so. They're not timely right now, but I think that, after fourth quarter is over, you're going to find some of the information very useful. One of the videos is what you do when you're running out of inventory or when you've already run out of inventory. And this comes on the tail end of one of my successes. I had an item that I sold all of last year. Roughly from January 1st through the end of September, 3 quarters, I had sold roughly 1,000 pieces of this particular item. I ordered 1,000 pieces of it. I tried something new in terms of marketing this item, in terms of my pay-per-click advertising for the item, and it was a tremendous success. I have a video coming up about exactly what I did, but just to put it to you this way in numbers that are easy to understand, January 1st through the end of September, I sold roughly 1,000 pieces. This item came back into my inventory the second week of October, and from the second week of October through Thanksgiving, I had sold just over 900 pieces. So needless to say, what I was doing, the new process that I tried, I'm going to try it again when my new inventory comes in, and I'm going to try it on other items as well. It worked extraordinarily well. It greatly surpassed my expectations, and I've got a video that you all will want to see. It will really be an eye-opener for you. So look out for that. I will, I'll definitely make you aware when that video is coming up. The other thing is what to do when you're running out of inventory. And I think I got a little sidetracked there. I meant to say that earlier, but there's a process when you find yourself running out of inventory or when you're already out of inventory that you can go through that can preserve your seller's rank and can preserve a lot of the territory that you fought for in order to get that product ranked and selling well. You don't just have to give up. You don't have to start over again if you follow the proper steps. I've got an in-depth video coming, but just to give you an idea, when you do the math and you say, okay, I'm going to run out of inventory in all likelihood at my current sales velocity before I can get replenishment inventory in, the first thing you do is you want to raise your price. Probably 10%, maybe 20%. What you want to do is you want to continue making sales, but you want to slow your sales down. You're trying not to run out of inventory. And as strange as that may sound, you just don't want to run out of inventory. If it happens, it happens. There are steps to do or steps that you can take that will minimize the damage. But in a perfect world, you don't run out of inventory, even if your sales have to be slowed down pretty dramatically on a particular product. So you want to raise your price. You want to stop all your pay-per-click advertising on that item or reduce it dramatically. I'm not necessarily saying you have to go to zero, but if you're at $20 a day, you might want to go down to $5 a day. You want to keep traffic going to that page, but if you go from 10 sales a day down to 2 sales a day, that's okay if that will bridge you over the gap until you get new inventory in. It's very important, again, in a perfect world, that you never run out. Sometimes things happen, you will run out, but you definitely want to, as soon as you become aware that there's an issue, you definitely want to slow down your sales and try to stretch out your remaining inventory so that it will last until you get replenishment inventory in. But anyway, that's about it. Just want to give you updates on those 2 upcoming videos, what to do when you're running out of inventory, and also this method that I've started using to really just explode your sales. And you hear all those things about 10x your sales and this, that, and the other. Well, this was a situation where I basically 10x my sales strictly through pay-per-click advertising and some of the other marketing things that I was doing for this one item. I will expand my usage of this technique across most of the items I sell. And I think you all are going to be very interested to hear more about it when I put that video up. I just want to make sure I've got everything covered in the video because if done improperly, this could be something where you waste a lot of money. But if done right, it had results way beyond my expectations. But anyway, again, this was primarily meant to be an update video, let you know that things are going great for fourth quarter. I hope things are going great on your end for fourth quarter. If you have questions or comments, please leave them below. If you have not done so already, how about hitting that like and subscribe button? It helps me know what kind of content that you're interested in, helps me continue producing content that's useful to you. And once again, see you in the next video.